450.5 meters, that is 666 kilohertz. Welcome to the evening transmission, Saj Tele. We begin the transmission with comments from the press.
This is All India Radio. You will now hear comments from the press. The Sunday Statesman, in its editorial title CDs, Clarity Vital, writes speedy decision making was an underlying theme of Mr. Narendra Modi's Independence Day sales pitch for NDA 2, but it is to be hoped that on at least as critical an issue as military reform, there has been little haste to his announcement that India will switch to a Chief of Defence Staff system of higher military management, and that some comprehensive thinking has preceded the headline-making declaration. True that no Red Fort address spells out the nitty-gritty details, but since over 24 hours elapsed without any detailed explanation from the Defence Ministry, time enough for Mr. Rajnath Singh to ignite speculation over discarding Atal Bihari Vajpayee's articulation of a no first-use policy for nuclear weaponry. Doubts arise over whether the CD's move has been duly thought through, and that cleared away the cobwebs that had not permitted implementation of a proposal made at least 2 decades back. Since the buzz is that a formulation could be finalized in 2 months, surely this is too critical an issue to be left to sources' apprehensions masterize over the outcome of the move. The bold government must not back off from biting the bullet and appoint a 5-star general to provide it single-point advice, command and control of the military forces. Should it opt to employ them, another 4-star general, a first among equals, is more philosophical than practical. And what weight would CDs carry when the hyperactive National Security Advisor already functions like a defense supremo? Selecting and appointing a CDs could also exacerbate inter-service rivalry, particularly if a serving chief gets the nod. Seniority cannot be the sole selection criterion, though it does register high on the military's scale of values. An in-depth selection process would be advisable to identify senior officers not constricted by own service loyalties who would be able to carry their counterparts in the other services along with them. Maybe the introduction of theatre command should precede a CDs system. The Asian Age, in its editorial title, Becoming Shastri Kohli Must Deliver, says a cozy arrangement continues as coach Ravi Shastri's tenure has been extended for 2 more years. Team India's chief coach may come through this election process by a narrow margin. It marks given under various parameters, but he is the preferred candidate as a view has persisted for some time in Indian cricket that the job is best handled by a former Indian cricketer. This represents a sea change after foreign coaches were the flavor of many seasons as Kapil Dev was replaced by John Wright and then Gary Kirsten, but only after an unhappy arrangement with Greg Chappell, who went beyond his brief in trying to change the Indian cricket system itself. With Kirsten, opinions swung back to foreigners being the best as they did not interfere in the selection process and seemed better suited to tend professionally to the process of team preparation. Shastri was able to personally hit it off with a performing captain who gained power with his team's success. Thus far, team harmony was thought to be far too important, and so the Shastri-Kohli combination was not to be disturbed. Soon enough, their big test will come as victory in a multi-team even would be the real defining moment of success. India hasn't won an ICC even since 2013 in Dhoni's regime. The Sunday Statesman, in its editorial title Lightning at VM, writes Kolkata and certain parts of Bengal may have had a foresight on Friday of what to expect over the next 3 months. The monsoon stretches to October, when the season's first heavy shower threw the city out of joint for hours on end. While this is an annual scourge associated with urban regression, quite the most heart-trending was the death of a 34-year-old man who was struck by lightning while on a visit to Victoria Memorial with his family on his wife's birthday. The occasion has deepened the enormity of the tragedy that has befallen Subir Pal and his family. There is a connection between the lightning, thunder and rain of a torrential intensity that swept the city on Friday. Nonetheless, it would be instructive for the pollution control authorities to reflect on the immediate response of the National Environment Engineering and Research Institute, NEERI, which has studied the pattern and behavior of lightning. In recent years, the frequency of cloud-to-ground lightning in which the impact causes death and damage has shot up. This is due